Hello, everybody. I am the Amazing Atheist, and today we're going to look at a few different news stories and, just tear them apart, basically. You'll notice that it says Abandon Hope right here. Yeah, it's kind of hard to miss, actually. I don't know if that's the name of this show, but certainly you should abandon hope because the world's a fucked up place, as we'll soon see. Before I get into the actual news segments, I would like to say that one of the fucking links down there in the description section of this video, one of the top links is the Audible trial, Amazing Atheist link. You can get a free audio book and a 1-month audio book trial at audible.com. using the affiliate link in the description section of this video. And if you do, if we get 100 of them before the time when Paul's Ego comes down here, which is going to be towards the end of this month, then me and Paul's Ego, my friend from the Drunken Peasants podcast, will review Heaven is for Real here on the Amazing Atheist channel for your viewing pleasure. It should be wonderful. I think you guys will enjoy it. All right, so without further ado, let's get into some fucking news. This is not the first story I want to cover. All right, so this is Sharon Stone on Trump's hubris and Bernie, how much acid has this guy taken? So Sharon Stone, famous for showing her vagina for a split second in a terrible movie, 25 fucking years ago or however long it's been. She feels like she has something to say about the current election cycle. Lack of experience is also the reason Stone doesn't think Bernie Sanders is qualified for the job. I do not believe that Bernie Sanders is in any way, shape, or form prepared to be president. I think he's very intriguing, outspoken, energetic campaigner, but there's a big difference between knowing how to put on a campaign and actually being president of the United States of America, she says. And at 74 years old, some of his learning curve is not totally on the beat. Isn't Sharon Stone herself 74 years old? I thought she was actually 75. Yeah, she looks about 75. She went on to add that Sanders' age might be working against him. Bernie seems pretty old just in general, and some of his ideas are a little bit old. What do you mean some of his ideas are a little bit old? I mean, I guess they're old in the sense that they've been around, but in terms of being done in America, they're not old. Universal health care, we've never had that in this country. Free college tuition for those who earn it. Never been tried before. Never had. I don't think we've ever mandated paid sick leave, paid vacation. I don't think we've ever raised the minimum wage to $15 an hour. I think there's plenty of stuff that Bernie Sanders is proposing that is pretty new to America. You fucking rancid bitch. He's not young doing this, and he didn't really work until he was 40, so I wonder, how much acid has this guy taken? And here's where, it was already terrible, but here's where it jumps the fucking shark. Not only jumps the shark, but fucking rapes the shark in the ass with a fucking 20-foot-long dildo. It didn't work till he was 40, so, how much acid is this guy taking? First of all, how do you know? How do you know he's taken acid? Well, she's going to explain. I really do. That's not a joke. We were so aggressive asking people, did you smoke pot? But in reality, how much acid has Bernie Sanders taken? Because there's a certain edge to his personality and a way about his behavior that makes me wonder, how much LSD have you taken? This is just batshit insanity because, well, first of all, even if Bernie Sanders has taken acid before, what the fuck? Who cares? I personally don't give a shit. I've taken acid on several occasions. You have a fun trip. There's no, at least for me, there was no long-term personality changes associated with taking acid. It was a good time. I had fun. I got the song Skulls by the Misfits stuck in my head because I listened to it on acid, and now it's like part of my psyche forever. So I guess that's something. But acid does not it doesn't totally change who you are as a person. And I certainly don't believe that you can look at a fucking 74-year-old man, study his mannerisms, and say, yep, that guy did acid back in the fucking 60s, man. I just know. So that's just batshit retarded. She also has some shit to say about Trump. What can I say that he doesn't say for himself? I think the ever-changing muskrat on his head speaks worlds about his confidence. I would say that shows that he has pretty good confidence, when you go out with that hair, She said, adding that when other countries have seen the rise of controversial leaders, the result is often major atrocities and international wars. When I go abroad and listen to what people say about us, I just feel very, very sad. It was one thing during George W. time where you had to sit in shame, but this? She goes on to say, unfortunately, there is a lot of humor attached to Trump in the media, but it isn't funny, and it wouldn't be funny if he became president. I think it is funny, honestly. We really have to get together. We really have to get that, because if you look back at history of other countries who have faced this situation and the things that had to occur to save lives, there's nothing funny about it. Basically implying that if Donald Trump is elected, there's going to be a new Holocaust. He's going to round up all the Muslims into concentration camps or whatever. And it's going to be a disaster for America. Now, I don't doubt that Trump's presidency would be a disaster for America, but this shit where we compare leaders we don't like to Hitler, until someone actually builds the concentration camps, I think we need to steer clear of that analogy, all right? Especially when the guy hasn't even taken fucking office yet, and especially when his disapproval ratings nationwide are 70%. So it's going to be pretty hard for him to take the country. It's going to be pretty hard for him to have a path to the presidency. Now, he definitely has a path towards the Republican Party's nomination, but in terms of actually becoming president, I think it's very fucking unlikely. There's just too much negativity towards him. Now, if Trump does what the typical Republican candidate does, which is after they've secured the nomination, they rush to the center. If he does that, he might be able to make a dent in that unfavorability rating, but there's just too much shit he said that's too batshit crazy. Most Americans probably not going to want Trump as their president. He's not even popular among most Republicans. If it was just if it had just boiled down very early in this race to like Trump versus Cruz, Cruz would be winning. But because there were so many other people splitting the vote, Trump was just able to win contest after contest after contest. But honestly, when you nominate Donald Trump, when the Republican Party nominates Donald Trump, which probably 85% chance is going to happen, we should honestly be glad that we dodged the Ted Cruz bullet, because I'm sorry, Ted Cruz is worse than Donald Trump. I think we might even have a Ted Cruz story coming up, but if we don't, then let me just say, no, we do. So don't worry. We'll learn more about Ted Cruz and how retarded he is a little bit later in this show. Here is an article from the New York Post: Why More Women Are Letting Their Husbands Cheat. I have not read this article. I just object to this headline. Why more women are letting their husbands cheat. Okay, let me explain something to you, New York Post. If a woman allows her husband to have sex with someone else, that is not cheating. Okay? Cheating is when you go behind their back and do it. If people just have an open relationship where, hubby is allowed to go get some trim on the side, that's something that his wife allows. That's something that she is okay with. That's not cheating. Cheating is when you break the rules. Like, we both agreed on these rules for this relationship. we're never, we both agree to be monogamous, but, he goes off and, sticks his dick in some hot young thing, maybe like that bitch down below there at the butt of the day. By the way, I don't know who she is. Please don't ask. It's just kind of funny. Trashing out the details, blah, 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 blah. Let's just see. I don't really think I have anything to say about the article. I just wanted to critique the headline. So many deceptive headlines out there. Okay, so this is a little bit of entertainment news. James Cameron announces 4 Avatar sequels, and they do have release dates. Let's just see. There will be 4 Avatar sequels. You should be suspicious about any promise of release date, but Cameron outlined a Christmas release schedule for the films. Avatar 2 in Christmas of 2018. Avatar 3 in Christmas of 2020. Avatar 4 in Christmas of 2022. And Avatar 5 in Christmas of 2023. Each one of which stands alone, Cameron promised, but which together form a complete saga. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, either they're interrelated to one another, or they're fucking not. But man, I mean, Avatar, I mean, sure, I get it. It's the biggest fucking grossing movie of all time. I understand the inclination to make a sequel, but, I mean, I think most people, retrospectively looking back at Avatar, kind of just see it as Pocahontas or Dancing with Wolves with blue people. I don't have a particular problem with Avatar. I think a lot of times, when we live in a movie market that's saturated with so many remakes, so many sequels, I think Avatar, it's bullshit to criticize Avatar for being unoriginal. Because, yeah, I mean, sure, the plot has been done before, but at least it's not another fucking remake. At least it's not another fucking sequel. I mean, anybody who studies writing knows that there are only so many stories that can be told, and you do little twists on them, and you try to make it seem like it's something different, but there's, depending on who you talk to, something like 7 different narratives or something like that. So this is, the Avatar movie is like the noble savage trope. We've become lost in our ways, and we need a simpler people who are more in touch with nature to show us what's really what, and blah, blah, blah. But like I said, though, I mean, I think a lot of people look back at Avatar and just realize it's not that fucking great. I mean, it's okay. It's a good movie. It's fun to watch. It's visually interesting. The special effects are pretty damn good. Not nearly as good as James Cameron seemed to think they were, because he's like, man, it looks just like it's real. It's the first time you'll look at CG and know that, and then you won't know it's CG. You'll think you're really looking at some fucking giant blue motherfuckers. Well, no, we still know it's CG. Still looks like CG, but very good CG. Very good. Speaking of good CG, I mean, I watched Stephen King's The Mist just the other day. The special effects in it are pretty fucking terrible. I mean, the CG is not great, but it's an awesome movie, because the story is there. I would say The Mist is a better movie than fucking Avatar. Now, it didn't gross nearly as much, so I don't expect to see a sequel to The Mist. Also, if you are familiar with the ending of that movie, I don't think there's much room for a fucking sequel. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you want to announce an Avatar sequel, fine, but fucking 4 sequels plotted out for until 2023. I mean, shit. Wow. I mean, that's fucking an intense endeavor. I mean, I look forward to seeing what he's got going, but I don't really think people are clamoring for these sequels. Maybe I'm mistaken. This is now we're going to talk a little bit about the debate that happened last night. This is an article from the Huffington Post. Bernie Sanders stumbles on gun control and Sandy Hook families. He continues to struggle explaining his vote to grant legal immunity to gun manufacturers. We're going to read a little bit. This is by Christina Wilkie, national political reporter for the Huffington Post. Senator Bernie Sanders struggled to explain his position Thursday on whether Sandy Hook families should be able to hold the manufacturer of the AR-15 gun used in the 2012 massacre liable in a wrongful death lawsuit. Sanders voted for a 2005 law that grants immunity to gun manufacturers for injuries caused by their products. I don't think Bernie Sanders has to defend this position. Guns are completely legal in America. You cannot hold a gun manufacturer liable for what someone does with a fucking gun. Yeah, it's a dangerous thing, but so is a fucking car. If I buy a car and I drive over a bunch of fucking pedestrians and, paint the streets red with fucking blood, you don't get to go and sue fucking Toyota. They're not responsible for what I fucking did. And look, I'm not one of these pro-gun people. I believe in some gun control. But I don't believe this goes too far. This is absolutely outrageous to say that a gun manufacturer should be held responsible for what someone does with their gun. Yeah, we know guns can do this. When a gun manufacturer makes a gun, they know, yes, it can be used to kill people. But what about the people who manufacture knives or hammers or anything that could be used to kill people? They're not liable if someone does that. Okay? Because that's not the only purpose. And 99.9% of people who own guns are never going to murder anyone with them. So to blame gun manufacturers, to penalize an entire industry, which we've already decided is legal, which it says in our Constitution that we have the right to bear arms. Now, some people interpret that differently. Some people say, well, it just applies to militias. I'm pretty sympathetic towards that interpretation, but that's not the modern interpretation. That's not how most people interpret it. So, I think that we need to fucking protect gun rights here. So Bernie Sanders, I think, was absolutely right to cast that 2005 vote. So let's move on to the other issue, which was he stumbled on guns. Yeah, he said Hillary said at some point during the debate, she said that Sanders has been largely a very reliable supporter of the NRA. Now, this is PolitiFact right here. PolitiFact says, this is a stretch. Sanders won his congressional bid about 25 years ago thanks at least in part to the NRA and has voted against major pieces of gun control legislation. However, he has also cast votes for gun control and has received low marks from the NRA for the past 20 years. Neither the gun lobby nor gun control advocates claim Sanders as their own. So basically, when it comes to the issues of guns, Bernie Sanders is simply a moderate. Now, on most things, he's to the left of Hillary Clinton. On this particular issue, Hillary Clinton's on the left of him because she seems to really believe that gun manufacturers should be held liable if their guns are used to kill people, which, I mean, that's basically tantamount to banning guns. Let's be real here. If you're going to open up that doorway and say that anybody who buys a gun and uses it to shoot someone, you can hold the gun shop accountable for what they did with it. You can hold the gun manufacturer accountable for what they did with it. That basically makes it impossible for there to be a gun industry in America. Because no one's going to sell guns, at least not above ground, if they know that anybody they sell to could just go off and massacre a bunch of people. Now, if there's some evidence that the gun manufacturers or the gun stores sold to someone that they knew shouldn't have a gun sold to them, someone that was, mentally unstable, deranged, angry, volatile, and they knew about that, and there's evidence they knew about that, then by all means, sue the fuckers. But if you're just offering a product for sale and someone misuses the product, it's not your fault. It's not your fault for daring to manufacture something that someone else misused. And I find it funny that we have PolitiFact here saying that this is completely false, that, the NRA is no fan of Bernie Sanders, yet you still have these articles on the Huffington Post acting like Sanders is weak on the guns issue. Because the truth doesn't matter. Fact-checking doesn't matter. So here's a little meme I found on Facebook. This is also to do with the race between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. This shows Hillary loses NH by landslide but receives equal amount of delegates. Bernie Sanders won New Hampshire by landslide, gets lesson in socialism, ironically realizes how it feels to have delegates he earned to be redistributed to someone that didn't earn them. Oh, pwned Bernie. You pwned him. Here's the problem with that. Bernie Sanders wants to, yes, he does want to redistribute wealth. He wants to redistribute it from the top 1%, or in some cases the top 1/10 of 1%, because they control such an inordinate amount of wealth, and they don't pay their taxes. They put their money in offshore accounts in the fucking Cayman Islands, and they find 1,001 fucking tax loopholes so that they can just make mountains and mountains of money and not pay a cent. I mean, can you imagine if you or I didn't pay our fucking taxes? You know, we get in trouble. We get in trouble if we don't pay our taxes. But people who have more money than 20% of the population, 50% of the population, a small group of people with more money than half the fucking population of this country just get to avoid taxes. And it's totally fine. Totally fine. So this idea that these wealthy billionaires have somehow earned this fucking money, that's where I mean, Bernie Sanders earned those delegates, and they were taken away from him by a broken democratic system. Just as these fucking multi-billionaires who just stockpile mountains and mountains of money, more money than any one person could ever use, even if they fucking tried, they didn't earn that, okay? They got that through the same sort of fucked up means, the same sort of fucked up system that gives Hillary more delegates even when she loses, ridiculously. So it's just another case of a broken system. And you guys, you libertarian fuckwits who made this meme, are on the wrong goddamn side. All right, so some more entertainment news. I don't know if there's any anime fans out there. Scarlett Johansson's first Ghost in the Shell look revealed, but fans aren't thrilled. Okay, so you want to guess why they're not thrilled here. Paramount and DreamWorks Pictures released the first image of Scarlett Johansson in the upcoming film Ghost in the Shell on Thursday. The actress will star as Major Motoko Kusanagi, a special ops human-cyborg hybrid in the live-action adaptation of the popular Japanese anime series in the broody shot, she blah, 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 blah. So this is the fucking picture. Why are they pissed? They're pissed because some fans expressed excitement at the reveal, but many more announced their displeasure. The primary question on people's lips, again, why is a white woman playing the protagonist in an adaptation of a Japanese series? And yet, when people get mad about the Human Torch being a black guy, people just... you're racist. You're racist. Well, yeah, but he was written as a fucking white guy in the comics. So was Nick Fury, for that matter. Although there were black versions of Nick Fury in the comics, but the major canonical Nick Fury, the iconic Nick Fury, was a white guy. I don't have any problem with this, with changing the race of a character. But here's a more important issue. All right. Well, let's read some of these tweets first. First pick of the Ghost in the Shell movie. I still think they could have found someone else to play Motoko Kusanagi. Scarlett Johansson completed her Japanese transition. I really like Scarlett Johansson. She'll do great in Ghost in the Shell, but it bothers me Hollywood still overlooks a lot of Asian actors. You can westernize the story if you want, but at that point, it is no longer Ghost in the Shell because the story is simply not Western. All right, let me just show you something here. I just typed in anime girls on a fucking Google image search. I want you to notice something. None of these girls look fucking Japanese. All right? Look, this girl's blonde. She's fucking blonde. How many fucking blonde Japanese people do you know? Except for the people who dye their hair. Here's one with pink hair. All right? Look at all these hair colors. And look at their skin. Their skin is fucking white. Okay, so if Japanese people don't want Americans or white people to play anime characters in adaptations of anime, then how's about they stop drawing all their characters fucking white then? I mean, you want to talk about, the Americans they're fucking westernizing anime. Well, you know, the roots of anime are Western, you fucking moron. The reason that all these anime chicks have these super big fucking eyes, That's because the Japanese animators at the fucking inception of anime were inspired by cartoons like Mickey Mouse, where the eyes are fucking huge and expressive. They fucking stole Western shit. They appropriated Western culture, and that was the roots from which anime grew. So this whole cultural appropriation argument is just bullshit. It's total horseshit. All right, so now we're going to listen to Hulk Hogan's racist rant. And I don't know how this audio will work. Hopefully it'll be okay levels.
I've done everything fucking with him day and night on the radio like a jackass, and he's working with me to make it work. He goes out and you really shouldn't call every day and do the shit I do.
Alright, I'm aborting this segment because I can't understand a fucking word he's saying there, so forget that. Alright, here's just another silly article. 17 women who don't care what you think about their tiny engagement rings. Well, here's another one where I don't really much... I mean, it's just a series of pictures of women with small wedding rings. Look! Actually, that one looks like it's cutting off the fucking circulation to her finger. Maybe that one is a little too small. So they're small, or they're simple, or whatever, and, you know, so that's pretty much all it is. But the reason I want this on the show is because I hate this fucking trend of, like, here's 17 women who don't care what you think about their tiny engagement rings. Well, if they don't care, why is there a fucking article about it on the Huffington Post? I mean, if they don't give a shit, then they would just ignore anyone who said anything against them. And by the way, who's saying this shit? I don't go around looking at women's wedding rings being like, that wedding ring's shit. There's obviously other women doing this shit. But don't pretend you don't care. If you gotta post an article fucking defending yourself, like, look, you know, you can't act like you don't care. You can't act like, oh, it's just beneath us. It's not beneath you. If it was beneath you, you wouldn't even acknowledge it. You wouldn't need to have 17 women who don't care if they really didn't care, they wouldn't feel the need to participate in this stupid fucking article. Article in the fucking loosest sense of the word article. Let's take a look at the next thing. All right, so this is some BuzzFeed bullshit. People are losing their minds over how hard this woman trolled a random dude. The savagery. This is by Ryan Broderick. Earlier this week, Toronto-based writer Katie Cunningham posted this joke on Twitter. My favorite game is to act like I can't understand something very simple when a man is explaining it to me to see how dumb he thinks I am. And then, according to Cunningham, a random guy who follows her tweeted this back at her. This, my dear, is called deception. And then Cunningham delivered a master class in trolling. What do you mean? It's a form of dishonesty that you are using for self-gain or amusement. It's actually quite sophisticated stuff. Well done. And she's like, sorry, I don't get it. After her Twitter conversation, Cunningham screenshot the whole thing and it quickly went viral. So you see, of course, what she did. You know, oh, well, she starts off, my favorite things act like I can't understand, and then men explain to me, and it shows how dumb they think I am. Maybe it's because you're acting dumb. You know what I'm saying? I think if someone was explaining something to me and I was just like, huh? Explain that to me more, better. They're going to think I'm a fucking idiot, and they're going to explain. It has nothing to do with you being like a woman. It has nothing to do with a man. Like, if a woman's explaining something to me and I act like I don't get it, she's going to explain it to me like dumber and dumber and dumber and dumb it down more because they're trying to do something nice to you. They're trying to fucking help you understand even though you have limited intelligence. Now, obviously, this is just a joke. I get the joke, but the point behind the joke that men are these condescending assholes. I mean, look, anybody who's acting like they're dumb and they don't get something, of course they're going to get people talking down to them after a while because they're acting dumb. If you act dumb, you're going to get treated dumb. Has nothing to do with having a fucking cunt. Good old BuzzFeed. Good old BuzzFeed. All right, this is a story that I thought was pretty crazy. AMC CEO says company is mulling over text-friendly movie theaters. It was once the cardinal sin of movie theater lovers texting during a film. But AMC Entertainment CEO Adam Aron said the movie theater chain is set to test out an appeal to millennials. Here's his quote. When you tell a 22-year-old to turn off the phone, don't ruin the movie, they hear, please cut off your left arm above the elbow. You can't tell a 22-year-old to turn off their cell phone. That's not how they live their life. Okay, fuck you. There's plenty of fucking people of all ages that fiddle fuck around on their fucking phones when they shouldn't be. It's not just 22-year-olds. And to act like you act like there's no 22-year-olds that just want to fucking appreciate the goddamn film. You know, if I pay to go see a fucking movie, I don't want to see the light of someone's fucking cell phone a few rows in front of me distracting me as I'm trying to fucking watch the movie. Here's an idea. If you want to text, don't go to a fucking movie theater. Maybe you can set your phone aside for a couple hours and just, that'd be that. You don't have, what the fuck is so important going on in your life that you can't go fucking the length of a fucking single movie without checking your cell phone? So anyway, luckily there was such a huge backlash against this fucking absolutely retarded idea that AMC ditched the plan. They put out a tweet. No texting at AMC. Won't happen. You spoke. We listened. Quickly, that idea has been sent to the cutting room floor. That's fine, AMC, but the fact that you even fucking thought for a second it was a good idea majorly shakes my confidence in your fucking theater chain. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought there was an interesting thing, too, at this poll at the bottom here. This is based on some Pew research, and it tells you what percentage of people think it's generally not okay to use a cell phone in the following situations. At a church service, 96% think it's not okay. Personally, that'd be the time I would be most on the damn thing, because I don't want to fucking listen to a church service. 95% of people think it's generally not okay to use their cell phones at a movie theater. I guess maybe if there's some kind of emergency, like someone busting the theater with a gun or something, then it's okay, because, then at that point, watching the movie. But, still 5% that think it's A-okay. That 5% of people, if we just killed them off, America would be a better place. That's all I'm saying. During a meeting, 94%. At a family dinner, 88%. I gotta admit, I'm part of the fucking other percentage on this one. I'm part of the 12% or whatever it would be. Yeah. So, because I don't get it. Like, my family is not that interesting that I gotta, absorb every word they fucking say. Especially since I already know all their fucking bullshit anyway. They already know all my bullshit. I don't care if they're on the phone either. At a restaurant, this one I really don't understand. 62% say it's not okay at a restaurant. What the fuck is happening at a restaurant? What the fuck is who are you disrespecting at that point? The waiter? It's their job to fucking serve you and to provide a good atmosphere that you want to be in. Waiting in line, 26% say it's not okay. Why? I mean, I guess maybe if you might have a moment where the person doesn't notice the line has moved and maybe they stand there a second too long or something. But whatever, 26%. Public transportation, another one I don't get. Why would that be a problem? Walking down the street, I definitely don't get that one. I mean, what's going to happen? They're going to walk out into traffic and get hit by a car? I guess they could. Justin Trudeau, that's the Prime Minister of Canada, seeks to legalize assisted suicide in Canada. Now, I have problems with Justin Trudeau, and he's kind of like a feminazi bitch boy, but I gotta say, I think it's about fucking time that assisted suicide in Canada, or assisted suicide was legal in Canada. I think it's about time it's legal in the United States of America. I think if someone has a terminal illness, they have little to no chance of recovery. Every day that they exist is just suffering and pain, and they want to just end it all with dignity and grace. I think they should absolutely be allowed to do that. I don't think that we should mandate that they suffer and, fight a hopeless battle against disease or whatever. Let them fucking die. Let them fucking kill themselves. Now, Canada's making a few provisions here, like this only applies to Canadian citizens, so there's not going to be people in the U.S. with terminal illnesses that go to Canada so they can legally kill themselves. And I guess the one thing that people are concerned about, and I have heard a few people bring this concern up, is that what happened? Maybe this is like a slippery slope. It's going to go too far. We're going to get to the point where you can do assisted suicide just for things like depression. I don't think it's going to go that far. But if it does, that would be because society has moved in that direction. Society now views that as acceptable. I think we're a long way from people saying that anybody who's depressed should kill themselves, because everyone's been depressed at some point or another. At least most people have. Most people have wrestled with depression at least once or twice in their lives. Now, some people have chronic depression. I still don't think they should kill themselves. I think they should continue living, continue trying to find ways to improve, because you can't tell me that there's no fucking possible hope for them. There's no possible hope for anyone with depression. If someone has a fucking aggressive strain of cancer and they're just going to die anyway, but it's just going to be months and months of fucking horrible suffering, yeah, let them kill themselves. If someone's just, depressed and they sit around all day in their bathrobe watching fucking, kitchen nightmares and, just fucking feeling the weight of their ennui and emptiness and shit, those people could potentially get better. There's always going to be hope for people like that. So I don't think that we can, say that that's an acceptable scenario to commit suicide in. But I do applaud Justin Trudeau, whatever disagreements I have with him, for seeking to legalize assisted suicide in Canada. I sure hope that does happen, because I think that's just humane. I think that's just decent. Here's just a story about an asshole. Gay North Carolina waitress reveals that customer tipped her with Bible verse calling for her death. So this guy went to this restaurant. His waitress was, I guess, an obvious lesbian. And his tip was Leviticus 20:13, which I'm pretty sure that's the one about getting stoned to death. Leviticus 20:13. Yeah. If a man has sexual relations with a man as one does with a woman, both of them have done what is detestable. They are to be put to death. Their blood will be on their hands. Actually, now that I'm looking at this isn't really even applicable to her, because this says a man lying with another man. It doesn't say anything about lesbians. So, I don't know. Let's see, where is it? There we go. It doesn't say anything about lesbians, so she should be fine. I mean, it doesn't say if a woman lay with another woman, there's a problem. God likes lesbian porn, all right? So, I mean, there's really not much of a story here, but it's just, what an asshole, basically. Just a moment for us to, kind of go, damn, that dude is a dick. And that's about that. This is from Patheos, the friendly atheist blog. Hermit Meta. Wisconsin moms are preaching to kids during Jesus lunches, and this high school wants them to stop. In Madison, Wisconsin, a group of Christian parents have brought it upon themselves to coerce students at Middleton High School into accepting Jesus. They're doing it by luring their kids off school property once a week, giving them free food, and using the opportunity to tell them about Jesus. It's so widespread at this point, it's been happening since spring of 2014 and now draws about 450 students each time, that the students and adults have just come to call them Jesus lunches. Now, Principal Stephen Plank is trying to put a stop to it before the lawsuits come flying in. In a letter sent to all parents and staff this week, he explained the origins of the Jesus lunches and why they pose a legal problem. Pay close attention to what he says, because it's clear he's an administrator who's genuinely not out to persecute Christians, but trying to best uphold his duty as the head of the school. I'm just going to read the parts that Hermit saw fit to bold. The students moved from outdoors on the south lawn of the school to an off-campus location, which would have been allowable but would have required school administration to inform parents of any incentivizing of students to eat lunch free in exchange for attendance, and finally to a fireman's park in the fall of 2015. This practice violates school and district policy. Steve Plank once again asked the parents to stop holding these lunches. They refused and continue to expand them. The school district's lease of Fireman's Park permits enforcement of school policies during school hours. We are in no way interested in opposing religious practices and otherwise legal circumstances. Below are 3 of the policies being ignored. These are 3 policies of the school that are being ignored by these parents. Anyone providing food for students must follow the district's food handling standards found in the district food safety plan. They're not doing that. Adult visitors to the school campus must follow Administrative Policy 860, visitors to the school, which requires registration at the school office or the greeter station. They're breaking that rule. This, however, appears to be an event initiated by adults without approval from the school. So basically, a bunch of parents are luring the kids away from school with the promise of a free lunch, which is probably better than the lunch being provided by the school, but in return, the students have to listen to a sales pitch about Jesus. So it's kind of like when, you get offered a free trip or a free cruise or something like that, but the catch is you got to listen to, a bunch of fucking presentations about buying a fucking timeshare or some ridiculous nonsense like that. I bet that most of these students are just going for the free food and don't really give a fuck about Jesus, or if they do, it's whatever. If they really do care about Jesus, then they're already Christians anyway. I don't believe that anybody who would otherwise be a rational, skeptical person is going to go to a free Jesus lunch and suddenly be like, this brisket's pretty damn good. I think Jesus is real. Jesus is legit. Now, obviously, these parents should be stopped. They're breaking a bunch of school rules. Lawsuits are probably inevitable at this point. Someone is going to sue this fucking school, and they'll have a good case to do it. But I really don't think it's a grave threat to atheism. I really don't think that this is going to be some tremendous, awesome tool for indoctrination. Just like people will go on those vacations or cruises and listen to the timeshare seminar and be like, yeah, whatever, that's bullshit, I'm not buying. And then they just enjoy the free shit. But every once in a while, so sure, someone does buy in. Wow, timeshare sounds good. It's not good. And Jesus is just basically a timeshare in this scenario. Yeah, maybe some kids will buy into it, but they're the dumb kids. They're the gullible kids. They were always going to eventually latch on to some totally irrational bullshit. My favorite kids at this school are the fucking percentage of kids who don't believe in Jesus, don't give a fuck about religion, but are just showing up because they want the free food. I gotta love those exploitative little fucking bastards. So industrious. All right. Here's that Cruz story I was promising you. Cruz said Americans don't have right to masturbate. His college roommate's response is perfect. Senator Ted Cruz is well known for his tyrannical puritanism and unhealthy aversion to anything sexual, except for when he was 18 and he said his ambition in life was to be in a teen titty film. He spent his entire life shaming people for expressing their natural sexuality, especially women, except for when he's in the teen titty film. Apparently he didn't care then. Cruz never grew or even deviated from his smug, self-righteous imposition of his own morals on those around him. From the time that he was in college, he called his friend's mother a whore for her abortion, to his recent assertions that he would force women to carry their rapist baby to term. As a Solicitor General, he argued that Americans have no right to sell sex toys or even have the right to masturbate at all. There is no substantive due process right to stimulate one's genitals for non-medical purposes unrelated to the procreation or outside of an interpersonal relationship, he argued in defense of a state ban on dildos in 2004, as apparently they are obscene devices that likely contain demons that are released upon orgasm or whatever primitive nonsense that evangelicals use to justify the imposition of Christian Sharia law. So Ted Cruz's college roommate came forward to respond to this. He said, Ted Cruz thinks that people don't have a right to stimulate their genitals. I was his college roommate. This would be a new belief of his. So, was Ted Cruz jerking off in front of his roommate? Was it like one of those uncomfortable situations where his roommate kind of is like sitting there in bed and he kind of wakes up and he hears over in the next bunk like, man, just brilliant ponage, deserving of its fucking nearly 50,000 retweets and more than 60,000 favorites. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Here's a woman here saying, Marianne Emmons says, Ted Cruz is a dominionist. What he actually is a dominionist. And what dominionists believe is basically in theocracy. They believe that the United States is a Christian nation and that we should be governed by Christian law. So this is what I'm talking about when I say when we get Trump, we're dodging the bullet, because Ted Cruz, several orders of magnitude worse. I cannot imagine Donald Trump coming out and saying that people don't have the right to fucking touch their own goddamn genitals. So we're nearly done here. There's another friendly atheist article. This is just something I found interesting. More Republican politicians than trans people have been arrested for sex acts in bathrooms. All of the recent political and social commotion about transgender people and bathrooms is even sillier when you look at the numbers. How many trans people have been arrested for sex acts in bathrooms? As best as we can tell, 0. How many GOP politicians, which is a much smaller group, by the way? At least 3, including most famously this fuck right here, Mr. Larry Craig, who was in a bathroom and he did like some gay gesturing shit. Airport bathroom. He's tapping his foot over in the next stall, which is basically a signal like, "Hey, I suck your dick, you suck mine," And several people have come forward and said, yes, I had sex with Larry. Men have come forward and said, yes, I had sex with Larry Craig. I remember there was this one guy I watched. He came forward and said that Larry Craig had brought him to his house when his wife and his family were gone, had sex with him, and then afterwards, Larry Craig gave him $50 and said, "I'm a powerful man. If you tell anyone, I'll fucking ruin your life." Larry Craig ain't so fucking powerful anymore. So yeah, I just thought it was interesting, this ridiculous bullshit where we're trying to control who can use what restroom. I mean, what are we going to do? Are we going to have fucking people standing outside the restroom inspecting genitals to make sure that you're really what you say you are? I mean, if you've seen trans women and trans men who are passing, of which there are plenty, doesn't it just make things worse to try to make them use their biological sex's bathroom? I mean, doesn't that cause the discomfort when some dude walks into the ladies' room and it's like, sorry, I'm transgender, I know I look and sound and act like a man in every fucking way, but I'm supposed to use this bathroom because, some Republicans say that to do otherwise is deceptive. I mean, regardless of how you feel about trans issues, that's a stupid fucking rule. And in fact, I think the days of gender-segregated bathrooms probably just in general should go away. I know maybe that's not a popular idea, but what happens in fucking bathrooms that you just can't have the other sex around you? Because, either you're in a fucking stall. It's not like there's a bunch of naked people walking around the bathroom. Women with their fucking tits hanging out. Guys just fucking flopping their dicks all around. I mean, people go in, they go to the bathroom, they leave. Unless you're Larry Craig. Then you want to suck some dick. Maybe that's the concern. Maybe there'd just be too much sex going on in bathrooms if we allowed both genders in there. I don't know. Maybe so. All right, that's my last thing I have here. This is how well do you know your fast food fries? I thought I'd take this quiz. It is a BuzzFeed quiz, but thought I'd give it a shot. I'm thinking these fries here are from Chick-fil-A. So, yep, I was right. Okay. Those are definitely McDonald's fries. Yep, all right. These look like Popeye's fries. Sweet. Oh, shit, I don't know. Well, I know they're not Chick-fil-A or McDonald's, so they gotta be In-N-Out. I have no idea what the fuck these are. These I haven't been to KFC in ages. Are these what their fries look like? Sweet. Okay, crinkle fries. I know Burger King doesn't have crinkle fries. I don't think Hardee's does. I'm going to go with Zaxby's. Damn, it is Burger King. I guess Burger King does have crinkle fries. I'm a moron. I could have swore they don't. The fuck is that shit? Okay, so these look familiar. These look like horrible fucking fries. I'm going to say this Bojangles shit. Oh, shit. What are these? I know those aren't Checkers. Well, we know they're not Bojangles because you just guessed that, so it's got to be this one. More crinkle fries. Are these Zaxby fries? All right, cool. These, I think, well, we already did Burger King. Is Cookout? No, it's Hardee's. Shit. What are these? Shit. I'm going to say Cookout. All right, cool. What are these? Wendy's? Yeah, those look like Wendy's fries. Curly fries, those are Arby's for sure. I know those motherfuckers like the back of my hand. Sonic, I think. Yep, all right. Last one, all right. Those are definitely Checkers fries. 13 out of 15, that's pretty good. I'm a fry master. I'm not even a big fry fan either, so. Cool, all right. I guess that pretty much wraps up this shit. Hope you guys enjoyed. Obviously, this is kind of a different format. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's some changes that need to be made to the format. I don't know if it was interesting to you guys. Let me know if you have any comments. I mean, if you have any critiques. Let me know if there's something I could be doing differently on here. Let me know if you like this format. And please subscribe if you're not already. Thank you. I'm the Amazing Atheist. I'm going to go ahead and fucking say peace the fuck